Welcome to the deep dive.
Great to be here.
So today we're taking a really focused look at the Fasttoken white paper.
Yep, version 2.1, dated November 2nd, 2023. That's our source.
Exactly. And the goal is really to give you a fast track, a shortcut to understanding what Fasttoken is all about.
What they're offering, their core ideas, the whole vision for the ecosystem will pull out the key stuff.
Make it easy to grasp, yeah. A shortcut to being well-informed on what looks like a pretty complex project.
Definitely ambitious.
Okay, so let's just jump right in. At its core, what is Fasttoken? FTN.
Right, the FTN. It's a utility token. It lives on the Ethereum network, follows the ERC20 standard.
Okay, standard stuff so far.
Pretty standard. And they've set a total supply capped at 1 billion tokens. But the really interesting part is its connection.
To SoftConstruct, right. The white paper really leans into that.
It does, yeah. And it's significant. SoftConstruct isn't new to the game. They're a big software solutions provider. Well, they're into IT, sports, finance, and importantly for us, blockchain. They've got like over 7,000 people working there.
Wow.
Yeah, 700 plus partners, over 1 million active users monthly. So they have this huge existing network.
Which could give FTN a real leg up, right? A built-in user base almost.
Exactly. It's not starting from scratch in a vacuum. It potentially has real-world use cases and an audience from day one. Think of it like launching a new game console, but you already have a massive library of games people play.
Okay, that makes the connection much clearer. So FTN isn't just another token, it's meant to be the main crypto for this whole FastX ecosystem they're building.
That's the vision laid out in the white paper, yes.
Yeah.
The central cryptocurrency tying everything together.
So what are the main parts of that ecosystem? Give us the quick tour.
Okay, the executive summary hits the highlights. First, you've got the Bahamut blockchain.
Bahamut.
Yeah, it's a layer 1 EVM compatible using something called proof of stake activity.
Proof of stake activity.
Wow.
We'll need to unpack that later.
We will. Then there's the FastX cryptocurrency exchange spot, OKC, planning for derivatives.
Okay, trading.
Right. Then the FastX payments ecosystem. This covers online payments, hardware terminals.
Like POS systems.
Exactly. Physical stores, and even crypto to cash via ATMs, all linked to one wallet.
ATMs. Interesting.
Then you've got the FT marketplace for, well, NFTs.
Naturally.
The FastX Web3 gaming hub, trying to be a central spot for Web3 games and assets. And finally, FastXverse, their metaverse play.
Okay, that's a lot, a very broad scope.
It really is a comprehensive suite of services.
So FTN is the thread connecting all of these, but what can you actually do with it? What's the practical utility?
Good question. The white paper dives into FTN utility under SoftConstruct umbrella. This is where the connection gets really practical. They talk about the SoftConstruct Crypto Reward Program, or SCRP.
SCRP. It sounds like a loyalty program.
That's a pretty good analogy, yeah. Like airline miles or credit card points, but for interacting with SoftConstruct's network.
How does it work?
It's aimed at users, affiliates, partners, anyone with a business relationship. They can mint FTN tokens, basically earn them back as a reward for using services or participating.
So using SoftConstruct products could earn you FTN.
That's the idea. And it doesn't stop there. They also want to incentivize holding FTN.
Ah, so holding gives you perks.
Potentially, yes. The white paper mentions things like better profit margins, maybe higher commission rates, bigger bonuses, special game promotions, things like that.
But they don't specify exactly how much you need to hold.
Not yet. They say those details, the specific holding amounts, and the exact benefits will be released later. But the principle is clear. Hold FTN.
Yeah.
Get benefits within the SoftConstruct world.
Interesting. It ties usage and holding together. So beyond the reward program, how does FTN work within the new FastX products, like that Bahamut blockchain you mentioned?
Right. Let's dig into Bahamut. The core feature is the proof-of-stake activity, POSA consensus.
Okay. POSA. What's different about it?
Well, typical proof-of-stake rewards people for locking up or staking their tokens to secure the network. POSA aims to reward both stakers and those who are actively using the network, making transactions, interacting with dApps.
So it rewards activity, not just sitting on tokens.
That's the activity part. The idea is to blend the security of staking with the dynamism of actual usage. Potentially makes for a more engaged network.
Could prevent stagnation. And it's EVM compatible.
Yes, which is a big deal.
Yeah.
EVM is the Ethereum virtual machine. Compatibility means developers familiar with Ethereum, which is most blockchain developers, can easily port their existing applications over to Bahamut.
Lowering the barrier to entry for developers.
Massively. And as you'd expect, FTN is the native token for Bahamut.
The gas for the network.
Exactly. You use FTN for staking, for paying transaction fees, the gas fees that reward validators for deploying smart contracts, and for any cross-chain stuff like moving assets between Bahamut and Ethereum.
And validators earn these fees.
Yes, they earn the gas fees. And the white paper points out an interesting angle for businesses building on Bahamut. They can become validators themselves.
Ah, so they could run a node, validate transactions.
And earn FTN rewards for doing so.
Mm.
It's framed as an alternate revenue stream on top of whatever their main business is.
That's a clever incentive to build and participate in securing the network. Any technical specs we should mention for the devs listening?
Yeah, they provide some key details. To be a validator, you need to stake 8192 FTN.
Okay.
The RPC URL, the connection point, is rpc1.sahara.bahamichain.com. Chain ID is 5165. Network name, Bahamut, symbol, FTN.
And the block explorer.
That's ftnscan.com. They also list the GitHub repos for the code and node setup scripts and details for their Oasis testnet too, so people can experiment.
Very thorough. Okay, moving to the FastX cryptocurrency exchange. What's the focus there?
It's positioned mainly as a derivatives exchange, so futures, options, that kind of thing.
More complex trading instruments.
Right. But it also offers standard spot trading, buying and selling crypto now and OTC, over-the-counter trading, usually for bigger institutional trades.
And how does it make money?
Primarily through trading fees, which is pretty standard for exchanges. They plan to add futures and leverage tokens later on.
Got it. Now, the FastX payments ecosystem, you mentioned ATMs, which caught my ear. Tell us more about that whole system.
Yeah, it's designed to be a unified system for both online and physical crypto payments.
Okay.
For online stuff, e-commerce, they have FastX Crypto Pay. Merchants can accept various cryptos, Bitcoin, Ether, USDT, FTN.
And can they get fiat easily? Or do they have to hold the crypto?
They offer automatic conversion to fiat. That's a big plus for merchants worried about volatility. Makes it simpler to accept crypto payments.
Definitely lowers the hurdle. What about physical stores?
That's where the FastX POS terminals come in. Point-of-sale terminals that accept major cryptos, ATN, and also traditional card payments.
So a hybrid terminal.
Exactly. And the white paper notes they're built with security and transparency in mind, even mentioning suitability for government oversight.
Interesting angle. And the ATMs.
FastX crypto terminals. These let registered FastX users directly buy crypto, but also crucially convert crypto back into cash.
Crypto to cash withdrawal, that's quite integrated.
It is. The idea is this seamless flow. Online, physical stores, ATMs, all managed through one FastX wallet.
Right, trying to make crypto genuinely usable day to day.
Okay, let's shift to the FastX Web3 gaming hub. The white paper calls it centralized, which sounds a bit odd for Web3.
Yeah, that word jumps out. But they clarify it. Centralized here doesn't mean the games or assets are centrally controlled, like in Web 2.
So what does it mean?
It means a single convenient platform, a central hub for users to manage all their different Web3 gaming activities and assets. Think of it as a user-friendly dashboard for your decentralized gaming life.
Ah, okay. Centralized access, not centralized control. More about user experience. Exactly. Quality of life features. It'll integrate with the FastX exchange and the FT marketplace so you can swap tokens or trade NFTs easily within the hub.
Makes sense. And what kind of games?
Both their own in-house games and games from third-party developers.
Yeah.
They're positioning it as a kind of Steam for Web3.
Ambitious goal. How will the hub generate revenue?
Several ways mentioned. Optional subscriptions, maybe a small cut on withdrawals, unless you use FTN, another incentive there.
Right.
Fees for featuring games prominently, and onboarding fees for developers listing their games.
Okay. Now, the FT marketplace. What are the key features?
It's built for trading NFTs. Standard features include things like blind boxes.
Like mystery packs.
Exactly. Unified login with your FastX account. It supports the main NFT standards, ERC 721 and 1155. Crucially, it supports EIP 2981 for creator royalties.
So creators get paid on secondary sales. Good.
Yes. Also lazy minting, so creators don't pay gas up front. Metadata hashing for data integrity, auctions, and a vault to store your NFTs and other crypto assets.
Seems like a solid feature set. What about the fees? You mentioned FTN incentives earlier.
Right. The commission structure reflects that. If you buy an NFT using fiat or another crypto, the fee is 2.5%.
Okay.
But if you use FTN to buy it, the fee drops to 1.5%, a direct saving for using their token.
Clear incentive. We've covered the big platforms, but the white paper mentions a few other interesting bits, their own games, and Oracle, supply chain ideas, fast channels. Can we touch on those?
Sure, quickly. Their own blockchain games are built using their fast channel tech, aiming for decentralization and transparency.
We'll get to fast channels. The Oracle.
It's a blockchain-based feed provider Oracle. Uses SoftConstruct's experience to provide real-time sports data onto the blockchain via smart contracts. Fees for accessing this data are an FTN.
Adds more utility to FTN, supply chain.
They state an intention to develop blockchain solutions for supply chain management, but it seems more like a future plan. Same for crypto-friendly e-commerce, where FTN would be the default payment.
Okay. Now, fast channels. This sounds like a core tech piece, especially for microtransactions in games.
It does. Fast channels are their solution for the speed, scalability, and cost problems that can plague blockchains, especially for lots of small transactions.
Like Layer 2 solutions on Ethereum?
Sort of conceptually similar, yeah.
Yeah.
It aims for speed and efficiency. It has two parts: an on-chain channel contract that holds the main state securely on the blockchain.
Like the ultimate source of truth.
Right. And then off-chain channels where the actual back and forth happens quickly between users' devices or servers. These off-chain updates are secured with digital signatures.
But they don't hit the main chain every time.
No, only when opening or closing the channel, or if there's a dispute. The off-chain state can always be verified against the on-chain contract. It aims for blockchain security without the constant on-chain fees and delays.
Clever. Sounds essential for gaming or frequent small payments. The white paper also mentions a raffle and an RNG system.
Yeah, a blockchain-based raffle using smart contracts for transparency and setting up prize pools and distributing winnings, and a blockchain random number generator, the RNG.
How does the RNG work? Fairness is key there.
It uses the Mersenne-Twister algorithm. It's designed so the outcome depends on random inputs from both the participants and the application server, hashed together using KEKAC 256 within those fast channels. The idea is neither side can predict or manipulate the final random number.
Okay, ensures fairness using crypto methods. Let's shift focus to the FTN token sale itself. The white paper says it's already done.
Correct. It finished up on January 18th, 2023, raised $23.2 million in total.
Across different phases.
Yes, pre-sale, 2 private sale phases, and a public sale. The white paper lists 5 goals for doing the sale: getting tokens distributed widely, testing the market, funding development, incentivizing partners, and sharing the risk and reward with early backers.
Makes sense. Can we break down the phases? Pre-sale first.
Sure. The pre-sale started late 2022, ran for up to 39 days. Max contribution was $400K. Price was 0.25 per FTN. This was 6% of the total supply.
Any lockups on those tokens?
Yep. A 9-month vesting period, then 10% unlock per month after that.
Okay. And the private sales?
2 phases. Phase 1 was 8% of the supply. Phase 2 was 10%. Both had a 12-month lockup, then a 10% monthly unlock schedule, targeted more towards institutions and experienced investors.
Longer lockup than the pre-sale and the public sale.
That was the final bit. Started January 18th, 2023, ran for 3 days. It was an IEO initial exchange offering right on the FastX exchange.
Hosted on their own platform.
Exactly. Much smaller contributions allowed.
Yeah.
Min 25, max 1,000 euro. Price was higher at 0.35. This was only 1% of the total supply.
And were those tokens locked?
No, those were released immediately after the IEO. So altogether, 30% of the total FTN supply was sold in these sales.
And the $23.2 million raised went towards?
Product development, marketing, growing the team, the usual things you see after token sale.
Got it. So that covers the 30% sold. What about the other 70% of the 1 billion tokens? How is that allocated?
The white paper gives a full breakdown. The biggest chunk, 34%, goes to the founders, but that's vested over time.
Not dumped immediately.
Right. 24% is allocated to the ecosystem, things like exchange liquidity, funding payment systems that was released immediately for operational needs.
Okay.
12% is reserved on the Bahamut blockchain itself, probably for future staking rewards or network grants. 10% for marketing and PR, released immediately.
Then the private sales?
Phase 2 got 10%, Phase 1 got 8%, both with those lockups we discussed. 6% went to partners, released immediately. 6% was the pre-sale with its vesting. And the final 1% was the public sale, released immediately.
So a mix of immediate release for operations and locked vested tokens for longer-term alignment. Seems fairly standard. What about the roadmap? Does it give a sense of how long this has been in the works?
It does suggest a long history. Market analysis apparently started way back in Q4 2017.
Really? That far back?
According to the white paper, yeah. First blockchain game presentations in Q1 2018, developed and implemented fast channels throughout 2018, made smart contract code public on GitHub in 2019.
So the core tech has been around a while.
Seems so. Then 2020 onwards was focused R&D on the exchange, NFT marketplace, and the Bahamut chain itself, with platform and game development ramping up in 2021. It paints a picture of gradual, long-term building.
Definitely not an overnight project. Okay, finally, we absolutely have to talk about the legal section. The important information, risks, disclaimers, it's crucial stuff.
Absolutely essential. And they dedicate a fair bit of space to it. Anyone looking at this needs to read that section very, very carefully.
What are the key messages there?
First and foremost, they state very clearly, in caps,
Yeah.
this white paper is not a prospectus, it's not an offer document, it's not an offer of securities or a solicitation for investment anywhere.
So it's information only, not an investment pitch.
Precisely. You're not obligated to do anything based on this paper. They also disclaim the accuracy and completeness of the info and stress. It's not professional advice, financial, legal, tax, whatever.
Standard but important disclaimers. Anything else?
Yes, they mention potential regional restrictions. It's up to you, the user, to make sure you're complying with your local laws. And critically, they state the FTN token itself doesn't have the characteristics of a financial instrument or e-money.
Okay, defining what the token isn't. What about the risks they list?
They cover a lot. Risks to the token sale itself, like no guarantee of a secondary market, price volatility.
Standard crypto risks.
Yep. Risks with the escrow wallet used, risk of losing your private keys, then business risks for Fasttoken security breaches, competition, changing regulations, bad economic conditions.
All the things that could impact the project's success.
Exactly. And a big warning about forward-looking statements, things might not pan out as projected. They flat out say buying tokens involves significant risk of loss, potentially your whole investment.
And reiterate, it's not an offer of securities.
Yes, they hammer that point home. No offer of securities or registration.
It sounds like they're being upfront about the potential downsides.
They seem to be, yes,
Yeah.
which is responsible.
Right.
They strongly advise consulting your own professional advisors before getting involved.
Right. Good advice always. Well, that was quite the journey through the Fasttoken white paper. We covered a massive amount.
We really did, from the token itself, FTN, and its role,
To the whole Fastex ecosystem, the Bahamut blockchain with that POSA idea, the exchange, the payment systems, the NFTs, the gaming hub.
all backed by the experience and network of SoftConstruct. Plus the details on the token sale, the distribution, the long roadmap, and those crucial legal points.
So summarizing the key takeaways.
I'd say FTN is the planned utility token for a very broad Fastex ecosystem. It leverages SoftConstruct's existing infrastructure. Key components are the Bahamut chain with its unique POSA consensus, the exchange, payments, NFTs, and gaming. And the SCRP, the reward program, seems key to driving adoption within SoftConstruct's network.
Okay, so zooming out now, we've gone through the details. What's the bigger picture here? What does this all suggest, perhaps?
Well, if you think about the potential impact, they're trying to build this unified crypto and blockchain ecosystem that stretches across so many different areas. Gaming, finance, payments, collectibles.
It's the integration that's striking.
Exactly. That
Yeah.
level of interconnectedness, using one token, one blockchain potentially, across such diverse applications. It presents huge opportunities, for user convenience, maybe new kinds of interactions, but also massive challenges.
Technical challenges, security, just getting it all to work smoothly, and regulation, surely.
Absolutely. So the provocative thought for you, the listener, might be,
Okay.
what does this kind of deeply integrated approach really signify for the future? If they can pull it off, what does it mean for how we adopt and use Web3 tech in our daily lives, from playing games to making payments?
That's definitely something to chew on, the potential versus the challenges of that interconnected vision.
It's a fascinating question.
It is, and if you want to get into even more detail, the white paper itself is the place to go. Hopefully our deep dive today gave you a solid map to navigate it.
Yeah, hopefully a good starting point to understand the project and think about where this whole space might be heading.
Absolutely. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.